The alien princess gazed in surprise. "You are really taking me as your life partner." Ever since he was a child, he would lie on the roof of his home on Earth and watch the night sky, wondering what life might be like on other worlds. Now, years later, that dream had become reality. He stood on the observation deck of the human exploration vessel, Horizon Dawn, gazing at the brilliant, swirling clouds of the planet below, Zyphora. Zyphora was unlike any planet humans had seen. Its oceans shimmered in shades of violet and gold, and the forests glowed faintly at night, as if the trees themselves had absorbed the starlight. Mountains floated in the sky, held aloft by unknown forces, and vast cities of crystal and metal shimmered in the sunlight. Humanity had sent only a few small teams to Zyphora, but each return report had spoken of a civilization far more advanced than Earth's, yet peaceful, curious, and welcoming if visitors showed respect. Aaron's mission was simple, at least in theory. He was to meet the Zyphoran leaders, observe their customs, and establish friendly relations. Diplomacy was not just about speaking well, it was about understanding. And Aaron had always believed that understanding others, even beings from another planet, was the first step to trust. The shuttle descended slowly, the air shimmering with the planet's energy fields. Zyphorans were tall, graceful beings with translucent skin that reflected their surroundings. Their eyes glowed softly in colors that seemed to match their moods. Aaron's translator device hummed, ready to convert their language into understandable English. Still, he knew that words alone were not enough. Gestures, patience, and respect mattered just as much. The shuttle landed in a courtyard of the Royal Crystal Palace, a towering structure of sparkling crystal that seemed to grow naturally from the ground. Zyphorans were already gathered, their long, elegant robes flowing as they moved. Some hovered slightly above the ground, using their natural anti-gravity abilities. Others walked, their movements precise and controlled. It was a breathtaking sight. Aaron stepped out of the shuttle, straightening his uniform. He felt a mixture of excitement and nervousness. This was his first contact with an alien royal family. The Zyphorans were known for their strict rules of etiquette, and any mistake could be seen as a slight. But Aaron reminded himself that humans had something unique to offer: empathy, creativity, and honesty, traits that no translator or protocol could fully measure. A Zyphoran ambassador approached him, bowing slightly. "Welcome, Captain Vale. I am Senar Alith, chief liaison to our guests. Your presence honors Zyphora." "Thank you, Senar," Aaron replied, bowing politely. "I am grateful for your welcome and look forward to learning from your people." The ambassador led him into the main hall of the palace. Light refracted off crystal walls, creating rainbow patterns that danced across the floor. At the center stood a throne of pure light, and atop it was Princess Leora, the heir to Zyphora's throne. She was breathtaking, even from a distance. Her eyes glowed a soft violet, her hair shimmered like liquid silver, and her posture radiated grace and authority. Aaron felt a momentary hesitation. He had met dignitaries and leaders before, but something about Leora's presence was different. It was not just beauty, it was intelligence, curiosity, and a quiet strength that drew him in. He bowed deeply. "Princess Leora, it is an honor to meet you." Leora regarded him carefully, her expression neutral. Then a small smile appeared. "Captain Vale. Your people have traveled far. We are curious to see what you bring from your world." Aaron straightened. "I bring friendship, respect, and a willingness to learn." He gestured to the items his team had prepared. Small Earth artifacts, books of human culture, and messages of peace from Earth's leaders. The princess's eyes flickered with interest as she examined the gifts. Then unexpectedly she spoke with a hint of amusement. "And yet among all these gifts the most curious seems to be you yourself." Aaron chuckled softly. "I suppose that is the gift that can't be wrapped." Leora tilted her head, her smile widening slightly. "Indeed. You are different from what we expected." The court murmured softly. Zyphorans were not used to humans being so candid, so unguarded. Aaron had a reputation for honesty and warmth, and it showed. He met Leora's gaze steadily, without arrogance, only respect. The ambassador, Senar, cleared his throat. "Princess Leora, Captain Vale is here as a representative of humanity. Perhaps it is time to show him the customs of Zyphora." Leora nodded, standing gracefully. "Yes, let him see our ways and let him understand our hearts." What followed was a ceremonial tour of the palace and its traditions. Aaron observed the Zyphoran approach to governance, their art, and their celebrations. He noted how each citizen contributed to society not for personal gain, but for the collective good. He marveled at their inventions, which combined beauty and function seamlessly, and at their gardens, where every plant glowed faintly as if alive with consciousness. During the tour, a small incident occurred. One of the palace's floating lights began to drift off course, potentially colliding with the crystal walls. Aaron acted quickly, moving to gently redirect it using a combination of calm gestures and clever timing. Leora watched, her eyes widening in surprise and delight. "You handled that with care," she said, her voice soft but filled with admiration. "Few outsiders could do so without causing harm." Aaron smiled, slightly embarrassed. "I suppose it is something humans learn, how to respond when faced with the unexpected." Leora considered him for a long moment. Then, to everyone's surprise, she laughed, a soft, melodic sound that filled the hall. "Perhaps you are more than just a guest, Captain Vale. Perhaps you are extraordinary." The court was silent. Such praise was rare for a human. Aaron's heart raced, not with pride, but with the realization that a bridge between their worlds was forming, delicate, fragile, but possible. As the ceremony ended, the ambassador made an unusual announcement. "In the spirit of friendship, the council wishes to offer a symbolic gesture. Captain Vale and Princess Leora may become partners in a ceremonial bond of trust and alliance." Aaron blinked. Leora's eyes widened. Then she tilted her head and asked, almost teasingly, "You're really taking me as your life partner?" Aaron froze for a heartbeat, unsure whether she was joking or serious. But when he saw her eyes, filled with curiosity, amusement, and a hint of challenge, he realized that this was more than a jest. This was a test, a moment to see if humans could match Xiforan values not through power or wealth, but through character. I would be honored," Aaron said carefully, "but only if it is truly your wish, Princess Leora. My respect for your people comes first." Leora studied him for a long moment. Then, with a small smile, she said, "Very well, let us see where this path leads. For now, it is an unusual beginning, but perhaps a meaningful one." Aaron felt a mixture of relief and anticipation. He knew this was only the beginning of an incredible journey. He had come to Xiphora as a diplomat, but he had never imagined that the journey would lead him into the heart of an alien civilization, into the confidence of a princess, and into a bond that might change the course of two worlds. As the sun set over Xiphora, casting golden light over crystal spires and glowing gardens, Aaron and Leora walked side by side through the palace grounds. There was no hurry, only curiosity. Words were shared, laughter echoed, and mutual respect grew. For the first time, Aaron realized that humanity had something powerful to offer the galaxy. Not weapons, not resources, but the ability to care, to understand, and to connect. And as Xiphora's twin moons rose into the sky, casting a soft violet glow over the palace, Aaron knew one thing clearly. This unexpected encounter was the beginning of something far greater than either of them could yet imagine. The journey of understanding, trust, and perhaps even love had just begun. The morning after the unexpected ceremony, Captain Aaron Vale found himself walking through the vast halls of the royal Crystal Palace with Princess Leora. The corridors were lined with floating lanterns that glimmered like captured starlight, and the walls hummed softly, as if the palace itself were alive. Aaron had never seen a building like this, not even on Earth. Every surface seemed to reflect light in patterns that changed depending on the angle of view. "Captain Vale," Leora said, her voice calm but curious, "our customs can be complicated. Humans are different, and sometimes your actions can confuse even those who try to understand you." Aaron nodded politely. "I understand, Princess. I will try my best to respect your ways." Leora's smile was faint but genuine. "Good, let us begin with something simple." She led him to a courtyard filled with soft, floating plants. Each plant hovered a few inches above the ground, gently moving in the air currents. Xiphorans often performed a greeting ritual in such spaces, where physical contact was replaced with a subtle exchange of energy between hands. It was graceful and delicate. "Place your hands near mine," Leora instructed. "Do not touch, just feel." Aaron hesitated, unsure of how to do it correctly. He moved his hands carefully toward hers, keeping them slightly apart. A gentle warmth pulsed from her palms to his, a feeling unlike any human touch he had ever experienced. He felt connected but unsure. "Not bad," Leora said softly, "but humans are too cautious. Zyphorin's trust by feeling, by letting energy flow naturally. You try too hard to control it. Aaron chuckled nervously. I suppose I am still learning. That is expected, she replied, and patience is a virtue here. The first lesson of the day ended with laughter, both from Leora and Aaron, breaking the tension that lingered in the unfamiliar environment. It was a small victory, but Aaron sensed it meant more than simple etiquette. Zyphorans valued the ability to adapt with respect and humility, and he felt he had passed that tiny test. Next, Leora decided to show him Zyphora's approach to communication. They entered a hall of mirrors, where reflections were not just visual but also emotional. Each mirror reflected the observer's inner feelings in shapes, colors, and soft musical tones. Do not be afraid of what you see, Leora said, guiding him. Zyphorans express emotion openly. Humans hide much, but here hiding is impossible. Aaron looked into a mirror and saw soft blue waves representing calm with bursts of green showing curiosity. He felt a pang of embarrassment. Zyphorans could literally see his thoughts. Interesting, Leora said, examining the colors around him. You are honest, Captain. That is rare. Thank you, Princess, Aaron said. I try to be, but sometimes I wonder if it is enough. Honesty is a start, Leora replied. Trust grows from it. Afterward, they moved to the palace gardens where Zyphoran children played. The children's laughter echoed like music through the floating flora. Aaron bent down to greet them, and though they initially hesitated, his warmth and curiosity won them over. He discovered that Zyphoran children loved Earth games, even simple ones like tag or hide-and-seek, though they added their own twists, like floating in midair or vanishing briefly with cloaking energy. As they played, Leora observed silently. She noticed Aaron's patience and his willingness to adjust to unfamiliar rules, guiding the children safely while letting them explore. You see, Captain, she said later, humans often rely on tools or strength, but you rely on understanding. That is why some of your people survive where others fail, Aaron smiled. I guess that is what makes humans human. Leora paused, then asked lightly, and do you always try to solve problems by talking first? Usually, he replied. I believe that most challenges can be met with thought and care before action. Does that surprise you? Somewhat, Leora admitted. But it is refreshing. Zyphorans often act on instinct or tradition. You think, and that is unusual. Later, a misunderstanding occurred that made Aaron realize just how different their cultures were. He noticed a Zyphoran elder struggling with a hovering tray of fruit. In human culture, offering help immediately is polite, but in Zyphoran custom, direct interference without permission can be considered rude. Acting on instinct, Aaron reached out to stabilize the tray. The elder's eyes widened, and she gave him a formal look of mild disapproval. Leora gently touched his arm. Patience, Captain, sometimes restraint is a form of respect. You must ask first even when you think you are helping. Aaron bowed slightly. I apologize, I meant no disrespect. Leora smiled softly. I know you are human. But understanding this will help you navigate our world. The day continued with more lessons, each one highlighting a subtle cultural difference. Aaron learned that Zyphorans valued observation as much as action, thoughtfulness as much as courage. Even their way of eating, their music, and their gestures had deeper meaning than humans would initially notice. Yet, for every moment of confusion, there were moments of connection. During a tea ceremony, though Zyphoran tea was more a glowing liquid that hummed gently than anything from Earth, Aaron and Leora shared stories of their worlds. He spoke of Earth's oceans, forests, and mountains. She described Zyphora's floating cities, luminous plants, and festivals under twin moons. You humans have a remarkable imagination, Leora said, her eyes sparkling. Even when you speak of simple things, there is wonder in your descriptions. And you, Princess, Aaron replied, live in a world that feels like a dream. I can hardly believe it is real. She laughed softly. It is real, but dreams are not so different. The heart sees both worlds the same way. The afternoon brought more challenges, this time involving small tests of problem-solving. A delicate energy bridge had been damaged in the palace gardens, threatening the floating plants above it. Aaron observed the situation carefully, then proposed a human approach, using a combination of balance, weights, and timing to stabilize the bridge without harming the plants. Leora watched in amazement as Aaron moved with precision, adjusting, calculating, and carefully repairing the bridge. When the final plant hovered safely above the repaired bridge, She clapped her hands, and the other Xiphorans joined her in admiration. "You humans may surprise us yet," she said, her eyes showing genuine respect. "You think differently, yet you succeed." Aaron bowed slightly. "I am glad I could help." "You did more than help," Leora said quietly. "You showed patience, care, and ingenuity. Qualities that Xiphorans admire but few outsiders display." As evening approached, the palace courtyard glowed with the soft light of Xiphora's twin moons. Aaron and Leora walked together, discussing their worlds, dreams, and hopes. There was a warmth between them, built not on grandeur or ceremony, but on mutual curiosity and respect. At one point, Leora glanced at him, a teasing smile forming on her lips. "You are unusual, Captain Vale." Most humans would have been frustrated by now, tired of rules and customs, yet you continue to learn. Why? Aaron thought for a moment. Because I believe that understanding others is more important than proving myself. And because your world is beautiful and I want to do right by it. Leora studied him, her expression softening. Perhaps humans are not as simple as we thought. Perhaps you are capable of more than we imagined. They paused at the edge of a crystal bridge, looking down at the luminous gardens below. The gentle glow of plants, combined with the reflection of the twin moons, created a scene so magical that Aaron felt as if he were in a dream. "Tomorrow," Leora said, "you will face more challenges, not as tests but as opportunities. Xiphorans respect action, thought, and kindness equally. If you succeed, you may not just be a guest, you may be a partner in understanding, perhaps even in life." Aaron felt a rush of anticipation. He had come to Xiphora to learn and to represent humanity. He had not expected to be tested, or to bond with a princess, or to feel the stirrings of something far greater than diplomacy. "I will do my best," he said. "For your people, for you, and for the chance to understand your world better," Leora nodded. "Then let the next day begin. But remember, Captain Vale, the smallest actions often matter more than the grandest gestures." As Aaron returned to his quarters that night, he reflected on the day's events. Each interaction, each misunderstanding, each shared laugh had taught him something new. Xiphora was a world of rules, but also a world of wonder. And in the midst of it, a fragile but growing bond with Princess Leora was forming. For the first time, Aaron understood that being human, thoughtful, curious, and willing to learn was perhaps his greatest strength. And that strength, he realized, might just be what could bridge the gap between two worlds, and perhaps even two hearts. As Xiphora's moons cast a gentle glow over the palace, Aaron drifted to sleep, ready for the challenges, surprises, and adventures the next day would bring. The next morning, the palace of Xiphora buzzed with anticipation. Captain Aaron Vale awoke early, the soft glow of the twin moons still fading from the sky. Today was not like the previous day of exploration and learning. Today, the Royal Council would formally present him with a challenge, a test of character, intelligence, and courage. Aaron prepared himself, not with armor or weapons, but with focus, careful thought, and patience. He had learned much about Xiphoran culture, their values, and their approach to problem-solving. Yet he knew that this challenge would test him in ways no lecture or casual observation could. Princess Leora awaited him in the central courtyard, her presence calm yet commanding. Her eyes sparkled with curiosity, as if she were both judge and observer. "Captain Vale," she said, "the council has decided that before you may be considered a partner in our traditions, you must complete 3 tasks. Each one will test a different quality: intelligence, empathy, and courage." Aaron nodded. "I understand, Princess. I will do my best to meet the council's expectations." Leora's expression softened slightly. "I believe you will, but remember, the tasks are not only about success. They are about how you approach each situation, how you respect others, and how you remain true to yourself." The first task awaited in the Hall of Puzzles, a large chamber filled with shifting patterns of light and crystal. The challenge was simple to describe but difficult in execution. He had to solve a series of logical puzzles that required careful observation and reasoning, each one connected to the next. Aaron stepped into the hall, his translator adjusting to subtle signals in the environment. The first puzzle appeared as a floating array of glowing symbols. He studied them carefully, noticing that each symbol corresponded to a natural pattern, like the way light refracts through Xiphora's crystal mountains, or the way plants in the palace gardens floated in specific formations. He began to manipulate the symbols with deliberate movements, testing combinations, observing results, and correcting mistakes. Hours passed, though he did not notice, as he became fully absorbed in the task. Finally, the last symbol aligned, and the chamber glowed brightly. The door at the end of the hall opened, signaling the successful completion of the first task. Outside, Princess Leora smiled. You see, Captain Vale, intelligence is not only about knowledge, it is about observation, patience, and creative thinking. You have demonstrated all three. Aaron felt a quiet satisfaction, but he knew the challenge was far from over. The second task awaited, a test of empathy. This task took him to the city of Reflection, a part of Zyphora where citizens lived in tall towers of light and crystal. The council presented a scenario. A small community faced a dispute over the use of a vital energy resource. Two groups needed the energy for different purposes, one for teaching and education, the other for agricultural growth. The situation required delicate negotiation, understanding each perspective, and finding a solution that respected both sides. Aaron approached the first group, listening carefully. He asked questions, sought to understand their priorities, and acknowledged their concerns. Then he met the second group, doing the same. Using what he learned, he proposed a solution, a schedule that allowed both groups to use the resource fairly, combined with minor adjustments to optimize efficiency. The citizens listened, initially hesitant, then began to nod. Slowly, agreement was reached, and the problem was resolved without anger or frustration. Aaron stepped back, realizing that empathy, truly understanding others' needs and perspectives, was just as important as intelligence. Princess Leora approached him, her eyes reflecting pride. Many humans focus on results, but you focus on people. That is rare. You understand that respect and consideration are just as powerful as knowledge, Aaron bowed. I have learned from observing your people, Princess. You value kindness as much as wisdom. The final task, however, was the most challenging. It required courage. The council led Aaron to the Labyrinth of Light, a sprawling structure filled with shifting walls, illusions, and obstacles designed to test resolve and bravery. It was not dangerous in a physical sense, but it tested the human spirit. He would need to navigate the maze, helping Zyphoran children trapped inside reach safety while facing confusing paths, moving walls, and illusions that played on fear and uncertainty. As Aaron entered the labyrinth, the first illusion appeared, a shimmering doorway that seemed to lead to safety but would circle him back if he followed it without caution. He paused, observing patterns, recalling lessons from the palace and gardens. Slowly, carefully, he guided the children, using logic and intuition to find the correct paths. At one point, a child hesitated, frightened by a flickering shadow on the wall. Aaron knelt, speaking softly. It is okay. The shadow is not real. Stay close to me, and we will find the way together. The child clung to him, courage growing as he led the group forward. Hours seemed to pass, but Aaron remained steady. He encouraged, guided, and reassured, never rushing, never panicking, always focused on the safety and confidence of those in his care. Finally, they reached the center of the labyrinth, where a soft light glowed. The children laughed in relief, and Aaron felt a deep sense of satisfaction, not for completing the maze, but for ensuring everyone was safe and confident. Princess Leora and the council were waiting. Leora's eyes shone with admiration. Captain Vale, she said softly, courage is not the absence of fear. It is the willingness to act for the good of others despite fear. You have shown true courage today. Aaron smiled humbly. I only did what anyone would do for those who depend on them. No, Leora replied firmly. Few humans would act with such patience, care, and steadiness under pressure. You have proven that humans are capable of remarkable qualities. The council nodded in agreement, their glowing eyes reflecting approval. It was not only a test of skill or strength. They had seen something deeper, the heart of a human, capable of understanding, kindness, and bravery. After the ceremony, Aaron and Leora walked through the palace gardens, now quiet under the soft moonlight. The floating plants glimmered like stars, and the air hummed gently around them. You have done more than I expected, Captain Vale, Leora said. You have shown intelligence, empathy, and courage, and yet there is something more, something about how you approach life itself. You do not seek glory, only understanding. Aaron felt a warmth in his chest. I have only tried to do what is right, and I have learned so much from you and your people. Zyphora teaches that every action matters, even the smallest. I want to honor that. Leora smiled, a rare expression of soft admiration. Perhaps that is why I find your presence so compelling. Few humans would embrace our ways so fully, yet you do. You are patient, thoughtful, and capable of seeing beyond appearances. They paused on a balcony overlooking the glowing city below. The twin moons reflected off the crystalline towers, creating a scene so beautiful that Aaron felt his breath catch. "Tomorrow," Leora said, "you will meet the council again. But now, Captain Vale, you have already begun to show that humans can be more than what we imagined. Perhaps more than what even your people understand." Aaron looked at her, realizing that the journey he had begun as a diplomat was becoming something far greater. He was not only learning about Xiphora, he was learning about courage, patience, and the power of kindness. And he was beginning to see how humans could inspire trust, admiration, and respect even across the vastness of space. As they walked back into the palace, Aaron felt a quiet determination. The challenges had been difficult, but they were only the beginning. He knew that further tests, further adventures, and further understanding awaited. Yet he also knew that he was capable. Human ingenuity, empathy, and courage could bridge worlds. That night, as the twin moons cast a gentle glow over the Crystal Palace, Aaron reflected on the lessons of the day. He had faced puzzles, disputes, and illusions. He had helped children, guided citizens, and proved his patience and bravery. And in the eyes of Princess Leora, he had seen something unexpected: respect, admiration, and perhaps the first hint of trust that went beyond protocol and ceremony. The journey was far from over. But Captain Aaron Vale was ready. For the first time in his life, he felt that being human, curious, thoughtful, brave, and kind was a strength that could shine across galaxies. And somewhere in the soft glow of the palace gardens, he felt a quiet hope that this journey, these challenges, and this bond with Princess Leora were leading to something truly extraordinary, something that neither he nor Xiphora had yet imagined. The palace courtyard of Xiphora was quiet in the early morning, bathed in the gentle glow of the twin moons that still lingered faintly in the sky. Captain Aaron Vale stood beside Princess Leora, his heart steady but his mind alert. Today, he would face the final task, a test designed to measure courage, patience, and leadership under challenging circumstances. The Royal Council had already explained the nature of the trial. A group of Xiphoran children would be placed in the Labyrinth of Light, a complex, shifting maze filled with harmless illusions, moving walls, and intricate puzzles. Aaron's role was to guide them safely to the center, using only his wits, patience, and understanding. It was not a test of physical strength, but of heart. Leora looked at him, her violet eyes shining. "Captain Vale, many adults have tried this task and failed, not because they lacked intelligence, but because they did not understand the importance of patience and empathy. Remember, courage is not the absence of fear. It is the ability to act for the good of others despite fear." Aaron nodded. "I understand, Princess. I will do my best." The children were gathered at the entrance of the labyrinth. Their glowing eyes reflected excitement and nervousness. Some clutched the hands of their friends, others hovered lightly above the ground, observing the shifting walls ahead. "Remember," the council instructed, "the labyrinth will test your ability to guide, not to rush. Every choice matters." Aaron stepped forward, smiling warmly at the children. "Don't worry," he said. "We'll get through this together. Stay close, listen to me, and trust your instincts." At first, the labyrinth seemed simple, a series of corridors lit by soft, shimmering light. But it quickly became clear that the paths were deceptive. Walls shifted subtly, and glowing illusions appeared, creating uncertainty and hesitation. One child, a small boy named Soren, froze in place, eyes wide at a flickering shadow on the wall. Aaron knelt beside him. "It's okay, Soren. The shadow is not real. It's only an illusion. Stay close to me and we will find the way together." Soren nodded, gripping Aaron's hand. Slowly, he began to move forward, courage growing with each step. As they advanced, the group encountered their first major challenge, a wide corridor with moving platforms suspended above a shallow, glowing pit. The platforms shifted rhythmically, and timing was critical. Aaron studied the patterns carefully. "Everyone," he said, "watch how I move. Take it slow. Step only when the platform is steady. Trust me." One by one, the children followed his lead, and each reached the other side safely. Aaron stayed behind the last child, ensuring no one was left behind. The sense of relief was palpable, and even the most timid child smiled with pride. Next, they reached a section filled with glowing doors, each displaying a symbol. Only one door led forward, the others circled them back to the start of the corridor. Many of the children hesitated, unsure which to choose. Aaron stepped forward, observing the symbols. "Look closely," he said. "The doors reflect patterns we have seen before. Think about what makes sense." He guided them, explaining the patterns patiently. With careful observation, they selected the correct doors one by one, advancing further into the labyrinth. The final challenge of the labyrinth tested both courage and leadership. A section appeared filled with mirrors, creating endless reflections. The illusions made it nearly impossible to distinguish the real path from false corridors. Some of the children began to panic, afraid of getting lost. Aaron took a deep breath. "Stay calm," he said firmly. "We only need to pay attention to what we know. Follow me and we will get through this." He moved slowly, deliberately, demonstrating patience with each step. He reassured the children, encouraging them to keep calm and trust themselves. Gradually, the group navigated the mirrors, moving steadily toward the center. Finally, they reached the heart of the labyrinth, a glowing chamber where light cascaded from above, creating a serene, almost magical atmosphere. The children's faces lit up with joy and relief. They laughed, clapped, and hugged one another. Princess Leora and the royal council were waiting. Her expression reflected pride, admiration, and a hint of amazement. "Captain Vale," she said softly, "you have done more than guide them through the maze. You have shown understanding, patience, and courage. You did not act out of fear or pride, you acted out of care. That is true bravery." Aaron bowed slightly. "I only did what anyone should do. Every child mattered, and I wanted to make sure they were safe." "You have gone beyond duty," Leora replied. "Few adults, Zyphoran or human, would have done what you did. You see beyond the surface and understand the value of others. That is a gift, Captain Vale." The council members nodded, their glowing eyes reflecting their approval. One elder spoke. "This human has proven himself worthy, not through strength, but through wisdom, kindness, and courage. He embodies the qualities we value most." For the first time, Aaron felt the weight of recognition. He had not sought praise or reward. Yet in that moment, he understood the true purpose of the challenge. It was a test of heart, and he had succeeded. After the ceremony, Leora led him to a balcony overlooking the glowing city below. The twin moons cast their gentle light across the crystal towers, creating a scene that seemed almost unreal. "You have done well, Captain Vale," she said, her voice soft but confident. "You have proven that humans can rise to meet challenges not through force, but through patience, empathy, and courage. I am impressed." Aaron smiled. "Thank you, Princess. I have learned much from your people. Zyphora is a remarkable place, and your children are wonderful. It has been an honor to guide them." Leora studied him for a long moment. "Perhaps humans are not as simple as we thought. Perhaps you are capable of more than we imagined." They paused, watching the glowing gardens and crystal towers below. A quiet bond had formed between them, a connection based on mutual respect, admiration, and a shared understanding that actions, no matter how small, could have a lasting impact. "You have completed the tasks," Leora said finally, turning to face him. "Tomorrow, the council will formally recognize your efforts. But know this, even before the ceremony, you have shown that humans are capable of qualities beyond expectation. You have courage, intelligence, and empathy, and you have heart." Aaron felt a warmth he had never known. "I am grateful for your guidance, Princess. It has made all the difference." "You have earned more than my guidance," she replied. "You have earned trust, Captain Vale. Trust is rare, and yet you have inspired it." The sun began to rise over Zyphora, casting golden light over the floating gardens and crystal spires. Aaron realized that the journey had changed him as much as it had impressed the Zyphorans. He had faced puzzles, guided children, and confronted illusions, yet he had also discovered the strength of patience, the importance of empathy, and the quiet power of courage. As they returned to the palace, the council convened to discuss the final recognition. Leora's voice echoed through the chambers. "Captain Vale, you have proven yourself beyond measure. Your actions reflect the highest ideals of both humans and Zyphorans. You have my respect and perhaps my admiration." Aaron felt his heart beat faster, not from pride, but from the realization that he had bridged the gap between two worlds. He had shown that humans could rise to meet challenges with creativity, kindness, and courage. That night, as he reflected on the events, Aaron realized something profound. Being human was not about strength or dominance. It was about understanding, learning, and acting with care. It was about seeing the value in others, whether they were from Earth or a distant planet like Zyphora. And somewhere in the quiet glow of the twin moons, he felt the beginnings of a connection with Princess Leora, a bond built not on titles or ceremonies, but on shared experiences, mutual respect, and the courage to face challenges together. The journey was not over. Greater adventures awaited, and more challenges would test him in ways he had never imagined. Yet he knew one thing clearly: humanity had something unique to offer the universe. Intelligence, empathy, courage, and heart were tools more powerful than any technology, more lasting than any artifact, and more inspiring than any display of strength. As he drifted to sleep that night, Aaron felt a quiet hope. The labyrinth had tested him. The children had trusted him, and Princess Leora had seen his true character. He was ready for whatever lay ahead, confident that the qualities that made humans remarkable would continue to shine, even across the stars. And somewhere under the twin moons of Zyphora, a princess silently wondered if the human she had met might be more than a guest, more than a diplomat, perhaps a partner capable of understanding not just her people, but herself. The morning sun of Zyphora bathed the royal crystal palace in golden light, casting shimmering reflections across the crystal towers and floating gardens. Captain Aaron Vale stood beside Princess Leora, both waiting for the royal council to convene. Today was the day the council would formally recognize his achievements and the bond that had begun between human and Zyphoran. Aaron felt a mixture of anticipation and calm. Over the past days, he had faced puzzles, guided children, and navigated cultural differences. He had proven intelligence, empathy, and courage, and in doing so, he had earned not just recognition, but trust. Now he hoped that the next steps would solidify that trust, not as a human visitor, but as a partner in understanding and collaboration. The council chambers were grand, filled with the soft hum of Zyphoran energy. Council members gathered in glowing robes, their translucent eyes reflecting curiosity and respect. Leora led Aaron into the hall, her hand brushing lightly against his in a gesture that symbolized guidance, trust, and companionship. The head of the council, a tall elder named Surith Alith, spoke first. "Captain Vale," he began, his voice calm but authoritative, "you have completed the tasks set before you. You have demonstrated qualities that we value above all: intelligence, empathy, and courage. Yet more importantly, you have acted with integrity, patience, and care. These qualities are rare even among our own people." Aaron bowed deeply. "I am honored, Council Elder. I only sought to do what was right." Surith's eyes glimmered. "And in doing so, you have inspired trust. Trust is the foundation of all unity. You have shown that humans, though different, can embody virtues that transcend worlds." Leora stepped forward, her violet eyes shining with pride. "Captain Vale has not only completed the Council's challenges, but he has also proven that humans can connect with Zyphorans on a deeper level. He has bridged understanding between our species, showing patience, thoughtfulness, and respect. These are qualities that will strengthen the bond between our people." The council members murmured in agreement, and a soft, warm light filled the chamber as a ceremonial declaration was prepared. The symbolic act of partnership was not merely about titles or rituals. It represented the unity of two worlds, the potential for collaboration, and the celebration of qualities that both humans and Zyphorans valued. Surith addressed the assembly. "Captain Vale, you are hereby recognized not only as a guest, but as a partner in trust, understanding, and friendship. Your actions exemplify the best of humanity, and we hope your example inspires both our peoples." Aaron felt a wave of humility and pride. He had never sought recognition, but he understood its significance. It was not about personal glory. It was about proving that humanity could act with wisdom, empathy, and courage, and that such qualities could unite worlds. Leora's hand touched his lightly again. "Captain Vale," she said softly, "you have completed the journey we began. Perhaps now the bond that has grown between us may guide our peoples forward." Aaron met her gaze, sensing the depth of meaning in her words. "Princess, I am honored. And I hope to continue learning, growing, and contributing for Zyphora, for humanity, and for the friendship between our worlds." The council raised their hands, signaling approval. Light flowed from the walls and ceiling, enveloping Aaron and Leora in a soft glow, a symbolic representation of unity. Citizens of Zyphora gathered to witness the ceremony, their eyes reflecting awe, admiration, and hope. After the formal recognition, the palace gardens became a place of celebration. Xyphoran children played alongside human visitors who had accompanied Aaron, laughter and joy filling the air. Floating plants shimmered with reflected light, and musical tones emitted from crystal spires blended harmoniously with the soft hum of the gardens. Aaron moved through the crowd, speaking with citizens, answering questions, and sharing stories about Earth. He marveled at the curiosity and intelligence of the Xyphorans. They asked about Earth's oceans, forests, cities, and the countless ways humans had learned to adapt, survive, and create. In return, he learned more about Xyphora's culture, technology, and values, and realized that understanding could be mutual, enriching both worlds. Leora joined him near a fountain of floating crystal spheres. "Captain Vale," she said, "you have exceeded every expectation. Not just in completing tasks, but in showing that humans can inspire trust and cooperation. Your presence here changes perspectives." Aaron smiled. "I only tried to do what I hoped any human would do, observe, understand, and act with care." "And yet," Leora replied, "your way of thinking, your patience, your courage, it has created something remarkable. You are more than a guest, Captain, perhaps. You are a partner, not only in ceremony, but in spirit." The words were unexpected, yet they carried a gentle truth. Aaron felt a warmth in his chest, a quiet recognition that trust, respect, and understanding could form bonds as strong as any title or ritual. Over the following days, humans and Xyphorans began collaborating in earnest. Teams of engineers, scientists, and artists worked together to exchange knowledge, create new technologies, and share cultural experiences. Human creativity combined with Xyphoran precision and energy manipulation produced innovations neither species could have achieved alone. Aaron participated actively, guiding discussions, offering ideas, and learning constantly. Leora often worked beside him, and together they bridged gaps of communication, understanding, and cultural nuance. Their teamwork became a symbol for others, a living example of how collaboration could overcome differences. One evening, after a long day of shared work and discussion, Aaron and Leora walked through the palace gardens. The twin moons reflected off the crystal towers, casting a soft glow over the floating plants. "You know," Leora said thoughtfully, "humans often think of strength as power or dominance, but you have shown me that strength can also be understanding, patience, and courage. Qualities that change hearts rather than break walls." Aaron nodded. "I have learned the same from Xyphorans. Wisdom, empathy, and care can achieve more than force ever could. Perhaps that is why we work well together." Leora smiled, a rare and genuine expression. "Perhaps. And perhaps that is why our peoples will benefit from this partnership. You have taught Xyphora that humans can embody values we hold dear, and in turn, we have taught you how patience, observation, and trust can guide actions." They paused at a balcony overlooking the city. Lights shimmered below like scattered stars, and the soft hum of energy filled the air. Aaron reflected on the journey, the puzzles, the children, the labyrinth, the challenges, and realized how much he had grown. He was no longer just a visitor, he was part of something larger, a bridge between worlds. "Captain Vale," Leora said softly, "do you realize what you have done? You have not only earned trust, but you have inspired hope. Humans and Xyphorans may never have known how much we could accomplish together if not for your example." Aaron looked at her, feeling the weight and honor of her words. "I hope I can continue to help, Princess, not for recognition, but because it is the right thing to do. And because I believe that humans and Xyphorans can achieve remarkable things together." Leora nodded, her eyes reflecting the soft light of the moons. "Then perhaps this is only the beginning. The bond we have formed, it is a seed. And seeds, when nurtured, can grow into something extraordinary." As the days passed, Aaron and Leora worked tirelessly, building programs for education, cultural exchange, and shared exploration. Humans taught Xyphorans about Earth sciences, art, and technology. Xyphorans shared their energy manipulation, advanced architecture, and deep understanding of natural balance. The partnership became a model of interstellar collaboration, admired and celebrated by both species. And through it all, Aaron and Leora's bond deepened. It was not a bond of possession or obligation, but one of respect, trust, and shared purpose. They learned from each other, laughed together, and faced challenges side by side. The initial surprise of their ceremonial partnership had grown into something genuine, a partnership of hearts and minds. One evening, As the twin moons rose high above the crystal towers, Aaron and Leora stood together on a balcony. The city below glowed softly, the gardens shimmered with gentle energy, and a sense of peace and hope filled the air. "Do you ever think," Aaron asked, "that humans and Zyphorans might one day work together to explore beyond Zyphora? To share knowledge, culture, and discovery with other worlds?" Leora smiled, her eyes reflecting the light of the moons. "I do, and I believe that if we continue as we have begun, there is no limit to what we can achieve. Together, humans and Zyphorans can reach places neither of our peoples could imagine alone." Aaron felt a sense of fulfillment unlike any he had known. He had come to Zyphora as a visitor, a diplomat, and a curious human. He had faced tests of intelligence, empathy, and courage, and in doing so he had not only earned recognition but had built bridges of understanding, collaboration, and respect. "And perhaps," Leora said softly, "we have also built a bridge between two hearts. One built on trust, shared purpose, and understanding. That is something even more remarkable than any invention or discovery." Aaron looked at her, understanding the depth of her words. "It is indeed remarkable, and I am honored to be part of it, Princess." The palace gardens, the glowing city, and the twin moons above seemed to celebrate their partnership, a quiet testament to the power of understanding, courage, and the human spirit. In the weeks and months that followed, the partnership between humans and Zyphorans grew stronger. Trade, education, and exploration flourished. The lessons learned from Aaron's journey inspired humans and Zyphorans alike to value patience, empathy, and courage. And as for Aaron and Leora, their journey together continued, not defined by titles or ceremony, but by mutual respect, shared adventures, and the understanding that humanity, with its heart and mind, could shine brightly even among the stars. In the end, the human captain who once gazed at the stars from his home on Earth had become a symbol of hope, collaboration, and the extraordinary potential of unity across worlds. And in the glow of Zyphora's twin moons, a princess who once looked in surprise had found a partner capable of understanding, inspiring, and sharing in the dream of a better universe.